Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at why people stopped being racist. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. My uncle by marriage grew up with racist parents, but one day when he was 20, he fell asleep at the wheel after working a double shift and rolled off the side of the road into a ditch late one night. It was a country road in nowhere upstate New York, and the only other person on the road at the time was a Puerto Rican man also getting off work. Pulled him from the car and drove to the nearest gas station to use the payphone. Way before cell phones existed. My uncle survived thanks to that man. His car caught on fire shortly after. My uncle was so touched by this man's kindness, he vowed to help the man as much as he could. Until my uncle's death from cancer in 2013, they remained friends. I remember hearing the story during Thanksgiving one year when I was younger and not really understanding what racism was. Ooh, yeah, it sucks for kids to grow up with racist parents because kids learn from the parents, right? And they're the most influenced by their environment. If the parents are racist, most likely the parents are going to be teaching them the hate. And that just sucks, honestly. Kids are pretty much like a blank piece of paper, right? Until they get influenced by bad people and it just affects them like that. But I'm just so glad he knew what was right and what's wrong after this. I was raised in a really small rural town, so it was casual racism constantly. I fell into the rhetoric, unfortunately. What changed me? Just living and traveling and listening and trying to understand. This applies for other views as well. Traveling and just listening can really open your eyes to a lot of things and on so many levels. Take care of yourselves, folks. That's true. It's just like how everything is in your head because you don't understand something else, right? You start to judge someone because that's all you heard about them. When you don't even know them personally, you don't even know them as a person. Experience with other people is probably like the best thing to make people realize that their thoughts are just wrong. I grew up as one of the only white people in a predominantly black area. My parents drilled into me that they hate me just because I'm white and to fear them. And at the time, they weren't necessarily wrong because many of those kids were being told the same thing about me at home. I just learned from experience it isn't true. I made many friends that I still love dearly, and I wish neither of us had this mindset drilled into us. Yep, parents. It's just all about parents teaching the kids, honestly. Like, don't teach your kids these kind of things and things will be better. Not me, but my dad's story. In the 1970s, my dad was in elementary school, said he had always thought African Americans were just different. So one day he's standing in line and there was two African American brothers standing behind my dad when my dad turns to the younger brother and calls him a racist term. I don't remember which one. The older brother turns to my dad, winds up and punches him straight in the face. He said he was bleeding. It hurt like hell and he was crying, but ever since that day, he knew they were just like everyone else because that's exactly what he would have done. He was hit and all of a sudden there was no racism inside him anymore. Racism is just stupid. Everyone bleeds red at the end of the day. No matter what race you are, there are going to be good and bad people within it. There. Like, I don't get how racist people think, honestly. Just because someone is of a certain race doesn't make them a bad person. And just because someone else is of another race doesn't make them a good person. There's good and bad within each race. As soon as I was old enough to realize all my favorite food were not American, eye-opening. Oh, I'm so glad I grew up eating Chinese and Vietnamese food. Honestly, I personally just love Asian cuisine. It just sucks because I do hear people being made fun of because they brought food from home, and other kids just make fun of them because it smells funny or it looks weird. Bitch, my food is yummy. You eat your sandwich and I'm gonna eat my fried rice. Like, I'm not making fun of your food. Why are you making fun of mine? My education growing up was fairly conservative and my neighborhood lacked diversity. When I went to college, I met a ton of people who were different from me, but just as human. Oh. Honestly though, I think I grew up very lucky because the places where I grew up, it was very multicultural. Basically, you just grew up with every different race and you were friends with everyone, honestly, because as kids, you just see them as a person, right? So I'm very thankful that I've never really experienced any of these, but it just sucks how some people have to deal with it daily, and it's so sad to listen to the news as well and just see people being a Karen. I was around 12 when I realized that they're just as human as I am and don't deserve to be treated unfairly because of a different skin color. Fought tooth and nail with my mum many times on that after that. Oh, right. I remember seeing some videos where people would be arguing with their parents because their parents are racist and they're trying to convince their parents to not be racist and the parents are just going to stay racist. Jeez, like what kind of parenting is that? Parent. I don't think I was ever racist, but as a little kid I was scared of other races, probably because they weren't very common in my life. It didn't come from a place of hatred though. But then I watched the first Pokemon movie and Meowth said something I've always remembered. We do have a lot in common, the same earth, the same air, the same sky. Maybe if we started looking at what's the same instead of what's different, well, who knows? Oh, that's deep. And since that moment, I stopped being scared of other races. It's true as well. We should stop looking at what's different and start looking at what's the same. However, I will say that the differences in people, culture, so forth is something to be celebrated as well. It is, right? It is to be celebrated because each race is so different and there's like so many cool things to learn about each other. It should be celebrated, honestly. Like everything is just so interesting. People are so different. It's interesting. Like, it's so nice to learn about. I don't know why people need to make that like it's a bad thing because other people are different. Like they do this, that's different. Why is that a bad thing? It's not a bad thing. Everyone lives differently. Okay? Nothing is bad as long as they're not hurting other people. This is gonna be emotional, like I don't even know why. I am still a young person, but I was racist for a long time. For me, what really changed it was growing up and having good friends that cared enough to see the person I could be, even though I was an unbelievably nasty racist piece of beep. Through many conversations, interactions, and even arguments, I grew up as a person into who I am today. I'm still not the greatest person on earth, but I'm still working to be the best I can be. That's what counts. As long as you change and you become a better person in the end, I think that's okay. Like, I believe people do change. Just because you make one mistake in the past doesn't mean that should be held on forever in your life. Like, it doesn't shape who you are as a person forever. That's what I believe. As long as you didn't murder anyone, right? I'm just saying, it's way better them changing from a racist person to someone not racist than them staying racist. That's what I'm trying to say. People can change, and if they do change, good for them. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are, and as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!